Welcome to Ask Dr. Q channel. Ever wondered if your spouse is a narcissist? Or maybe they're a superhero in disguise, but instead of saving the day, they're stealing the spotlight. Now, before you start picturing your partner in a cape and a mask, let's talk about what narcissism really means. It's not just about being self-centered or having an inflated sense of self-importance. It's a personality disorder that can have a significant impact on relationships. Imagine a superhero who, instead of battling villains, is more interested in hogging the limelight, always insisting on being the center of attention. That's a narcissist for you. They're like a superhero, but their superpower is making everything about them. So don't worry, we're not here to diagnose your spouse with a personality disorder. But if you're getting a sneaking suspicion that your partner might be more of a spotlight hogger than a crime fighter, stick around because we've got some tips to help you spot the signs. Does your spouse treat mirrors like long-lost friends? Do they have a love affair with their reflection that rivals the one in the Snow White tale? Well, let's dive into the looking glass of narcissism. You see, a key sign of narcissism is an excessive self-focus or vanity. It's like they're the star of their own show, and the mirror is their most adoring fan. Imagine this: each morning they gaze into the mirror as if they're about to embark on a grand adventure with their reflection. It's a love story that could give Romeo and Juliet a run for their money. And let's not forget the countless selfies, because if a narcissist looks in the mirror and no one is around to see it, did it really happen? But here's the thing. If your partner is more interested in their reflection than in you, it's time to ask yourself, is it just vanity or could it be narcissism? If your partner is giving the mirror more attention than you, it might be time to question whether it's vanity or narcissism. A scene script. Does your spouse's favorite topic start with M, end with E, and in the middle it's E? Yes, we're talking about the me, myself, and I monologue. Picture this: you're sitting at the dinner table, the steaming roast is served, and the conversation begins. But wait, it's not a conversation, it's a one-man show starring your spouse. They're the hero, the villain, the supporting cast, and the audience all rolled into one. And you're just the prop holding the gravy boat. Now don't get me wrong, we all love a good monologue. Shakespeare's Hamlet musing to be or not to be, Julia Roberts' passionate speech in Erin Brockovich, or even Liam Neeson's threatening phone call in Taken. But when your spouse's every conversation sounds like a rehearsed soliloquy from the All About Me play, it's time to raise an eyebrow. So, how do you spot this me, myself, and I monologue? It's simple. If the conversation takes a detour every time you bring up a topic and somehow lands back to their life, their achievements, their feelings, then you've got a front row seat to the show. And if they're not talking about themselves, they're probably not talking at all. Remember, a healthy conversation is a game of ping pong, where the ball of discussion bounces back and forth. If it feels more like a game of solitaire, then you may need to reconsider who's dealing the cards. If your spouse's favorite soundtrack is their own voice singing their praises, then you might be living with a narcissist. Is your spouse a master of the blame game, always ready to pass the buck faster than a hot potato? Well, let's dive into this one. Picture this. You're at a family barbecue, and all of a sudden, the potato salad is spoiled. Rather than accepting their part and leaving it out in the sun, your spouse promptly blames Aunt Mildred for distracting them with her tales of her many cats. It's a classic move straight from the narcissist's playbook, the blame game. Similar to a hot potato, the blame is something they can't hold on to. It's too hot, too uncomfortable. So they toss it away, usually onto the nearest unsuspecting person. In this game, the narcissist is the star quarterback, and you, my dear listener, are often the wide receiver. But unlike a game of American football where the receiver is lauded for their catch, here you're left holding the proverbial spoiled potato salad. And let's not forget, the narcissist is also the referee in this game. They're the ones setting the rules, deciding who's at fault, and most importantly, ensuring they are never the ones penalized. So if your spouse is always ready to throw the blame, but never ready to catch it, you might be sharing your life with a narcissist. They're the masters of the blame game, always ensuring they're the winners and everyone else, well, they're just left holding the potato. If your partner is more skilled at passing the blame than a professional football player, then you might have a narcissist on your hands. So, is your spouse a narcissist or just a superstar in their own mind? We've walked through the masquerade, the mirror obsession, the self-centered monologues, and the blame game. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? But here's the funny thing about narcissists. They're so busy admiring their own reflection, they often forget to look at the person standing next to them. Remember, a little self-love is healthy, But if your spouse is more in love with their reflection than with you, it might be time to have a heart-to-heart. Until then, keep your sense of humor handy. That was a Dr. Q production. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.